Hello everyone and welcome to our deep dive into the fascinating world of algae. Today we're going to explore three amazing members of the green algae family, Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, and Chara. You might think all algae is just green stuff in water, but these three show an incredible evolutionary journey from simple to complex. So let's get started. First, what exactly are algae? They're simple plant-like organisms that use photosynthesis to make their own food. You'll find them mostly in water, and they come in all shapes and sizes from tiny single cells to large branching structures. Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, and Chara all belong to the green algae group known as Chlorophyta, but they represent very different stages of life. Let's begin with Chlamydomonas, the simplest of our trio. Imagine a single microscopic cell, often oval or spherical, zipping through fresh water with two tiny whips called flagella. That's Chlamydomonas. It's a motile, solitary organism, meaning it moves around on its own. You'd need a microscope to see it, but it's found everywhere from ponds to moist soil. Structurally, Chlamydomonas is a marvel of efficiency. It has a cell wall, a single large cup-shaped chloroplast for photosynthesis, and a little red eye spot or stigma that helps it swim towards light. To maintain its water balance, it uses two contractile vacuoles. At its center, a single nucleus holds all its genetic information. It's a perfect example of a complete, self-sufficient, single-celled organism. Now let's move up the complexity ladder to Spirogyra. If you've ever seen slimy green masses floating on a pond, you've probably seen Spirogyra. Unlike Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra is multicellular. It forms long, unbranched filaments made of cylindrical cells stacked end to end, while the whole filament can be quite long and visible. It's non-motile, just floating freely in the water. Each cell in a Spirogyra filament is a little factory. It has a strong cell wall, a large central vacuole pushing everything else to the sides, and its most famous feature, one or more beautiful spiral-shaped chloroplasts. These spiral ribbons are studded with pyrenoids, which are involved in starch synthesis. The cell's nucleus is cleverly suspended in the center by thin strands of cytoplasm. It's a simple step up from a single cell, but this filamentous form is a significant evolutionary leap. And finally, we arrive at Chara, the most advanced of our three green algae. Chara is so complex that it's often mistaken for an underwater plant. It can grow up to 30 or 40 centimeters long and is typically found anchored to the bottom of clear, calcium-rich freshwater ponds and lakes. Because it can accumulate calcium carbonate on its surface, it's sometimes called stonewort. Chara's body is highly organized. It has a main axis that looks like a stem with distinct nodes and long internodes, just like a higher plant. From the nodes, it grows whorls of short branches. It even has root-like structures called rhizoids to anchor itself. Some species have a protective layer of cells called a cortex around the long internodal cells. Instead of one big chloroplast, Chara has numerous small disc-shaped chloroplasts in its cells. This level of differentiation is truly remarkable for an alga. So to quickly recap their life forms, Chlamydomonas is a single motile cell. Spirogyra is a simple, non-motile filament of cells, and Chara has a complex, plant-like body with specialized parts. Now let's talk about how they reproduce, which also reveals their evolutionary differences. We'll look at three types: vegetative, asexual, and sexual reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is the simplest form. For Spirogyra, it's very common. If a filament breaks into pieces, each piece can grow into a new, complete filament. For Chara, this happens too, but it can also form special structures like bulbils that can grow into new plants. In the unicellular Chlamydomonas, this method isn't really a thing. Next is asexual reproduction. This is where Chlamydomonas shines. Under favorable conditions, the cell inside the cell wall divides to form 2 to 8 motile spores called zoospores. These little guys look just like miniature versions of the parent. They swim away and grow into new individuals. Interestingly, Spirogyra and Chara don't really do asexual reproduction in this way. They've moved on to other strategies, and that brings us to the most interesting part, sexual reproduction. This is where we see the biggest evolutionary story. Chlamydomonas can do it all. It can have isogamy, where two identical gametes fuse, and esogamy, where the gametes are slightly different sizes, or evenugamy, where a large non-motile egg is fertilized by a small motile sperm. Spirogyra has a unique method called conjugation. Two filaments lie side by side and a tube forms between corresponding cells. The entire content of one cell, acting as a male gamete, moves through the tube to fuse with the content of the other cell. This forms a tough-walled zygote called a zygospore that can survive harsh conditions. It's a fascinating process, but notice the gametes are non-motile. Chara displays the most advanced form of sexual reproduction, a highly developed type of oogamy. It has complex, multicellular sex organs. The female organ, called an ogonium, contains a single large egg and is protected by a layer of sterile jacket cells. The male organ, the antheridium, produces many tiny coiled motile sperm. This level of protection for the gametes is a huge step forward and is one reason why Chara is considered a close relative to the ancestors of land plants like mosses and ferns. So from simple fusion in Chlamydomonas to tube-based fusion in Spirogyra to the highly protected egg and sperm system in Chara, we see a clear progression towards more complex and protected reproductive strategies. Finally, what role do these algae play in the world? Let's look at their economic and ecological significance. All three are vital primary producers in aquatic ecosystems. Through photosynthesis, they produce a massive amount of oxygen and form the base of the food web. Chlamydomonas is a superstar in scientific research. Its simple structure and fast growth make it a model organism for studying photosynthesis, genetics, and how flagella work. However, in large numbers, it can cause algal blooms, which can harm water quality. Spirogyra is also a key oxygen producer and a food source for many aquatic animals. It's a classic organism for study in biology labs, but its rapid growth can be a problem, creating dense mats that clog irrigation channels and deplete oxygen when they decay. Chara has some unique benefits. It's known as a bioindicator, meaning its presence often signals clean, unpolluted, calcium-rich water. It can also help control other algal blooms by releasing chemicals that inhibit their growth, and its complex structure provides a great habitat for small aquatic creatures. On the downside, excessive growth can sometimes interfere with water flow or fishing. Let's put it all together in a quick summary. For organization, we go from unicellular Chlamydomonas to filamentous Spirogyra to the plant-like Chara. For motility, only Chlamydomonas moves with its flagella. Their chloroplasts are distinct, cup-shaped in Chlamydomonas, spiral in Spirogyra, and numerous small discs in Chara. And in sexual reproduction, we see the evolution from various types in Chlamydomonas to conjugation in Spirogyra, and finally to advanced oogamy in Chara. In conclusion, by comparing Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, and Chara, we can clearly see the evolutionary journey within the green algae. We start with the simple single-celled swimmer, move to a colony of cells linked in a chain, and end with a complex organism that looks and acts almost like a true plant. It's a beautiful illustration of how life diversifies and increases in complexity over time. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour of the green algae world. I hope you found it as amazing as I do. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the natural world. See you next time.